My sister's husband started acting like my business belonged to him. He ordered me to get out of his company. I stayed quiet, smiled, and when I placed the sealed file in front of him, his entire world stopped right there. And what happened next was something he never even imagined. When my brother-in-law slammed his hand on the table in front of me, the sound was like a locked door crashing down inside a silent office. Without looking at me, he said, "I think you should leave the company." There was that owner-like arrogance in his voice that only someone has who believes everything is in his grip. I was standing in front of him, inside the same building that had been built from the work I started with my first paycheck. The building whose rent, electricity bills, broken printer, and last-minute clients I had handled. And today that man who had come here only 2 years ago after marrying my sister was calling all of this his company. I didn't respond right away. Maybe because I was exhausted, years of chasing debt, living in cheap apartment complexes, opening medical bills with the fear that maybe once again something wouldn't fit into the month. He thought I was weak, crushed under my circumstances, and maybe at one time I believed the same. He leaned back in the chair like a conqueror. "Look, the company needs the right leader. I'm that leader." He pointed at himself, so confidently it was as if life had never hit him hard. "By tomorrow evening, you need to clear your office. HR will give you the exit papers." I inhaled slowly as if calming the noise inside me. But deep down what was boiling wasn't fear. Rather the weight of years of unfairness, fatigue, and the confidence I had stitched back together myself. I reached into my bag, pulled out the file I had sealed a week ago, and placed it gently on the table in front of him. He laughed when he saw it. "What is this? A resignation? Good. Makes my job easier." His sentence broke in half. The edges of his eyes tensed, as if a shadow had moved inside the file. I didn't say anything. I just waited, steadying my breath. He had no idea that the papers in front of him were something he never even imagined. He tore the seal, flipped through the first few pages, and his shoulders stiffened sharply. "What the hell is this?" he said, but his voice had already lost strength. He flipped the pages again, checking as if hoping it was some clerical mistake. This can't be possible." I finally looked at him. "This company was originally mine, you know that. But what you didn't know was that when you and my sister were hiding your financial struggles, I sold 40% of my shares to an investor, under the condition that final control would still stay with me." He shoved the chair back. "That's a lie. I would have been told. You would have been told if you had a right to know." My tone was gentle, but the firmness underneath felt new even to me. "You never asked. You just came in, made noise, issued orders, acted like all of this had always belonged to you." He bent over a page as if something in his chest had snagged on the words. "It says here, you can remove me. You can fire me from here." I nodded. "Yes. And I am." The people passing outside probably couldn't hear the tension between us, but the air inside felt icy, almost like a storm had blown through the room. Maybe for the first time he truly saw me, not just as his wife's sister, but as the woman who had built something out of nothing. The woman whose patience he had mistaken for weakness. "You can't do this to me," he said, his voice suddenly small, cracking, nothing like the man who had ordered me out moments ago. "My family, my life, everything. You lied to my sister about being able to run things. You treated the company like a money machine. You treated me like an employee." I kept my voice low, letting each word settle like a stone. "What's happening today is a result of your own choices." He wanted to argue, but the words fell apart before reaching his mouth. This was the same man who had played power games with me, and yet now his eyes carried the same fear I'd seen in myself during the hardest years. Fear of losing a job, of unpaid bills, of everything collapsing. I closed the file, pulled it back toward me, and stood. "You'll have to vacate the office today. The legal team will contact you." He sat frozen, as if his body couldn't keep up with what had just happened. As I walked toward the door, he asked in a hopeless voice, What happens next?" I paused but didn't turn around. "Next? Something you never imagined. I'm rebuilding this company. Properly. With integrity, without intimidation, without the arrogance you spread here." I opened the door, and the air that flowed inside felt strangely light, like a weight lifting from my shoulders after years. As I stepped out, I realized something quietly powerful. Life doesn't change through miracles. Sometimes it changes in one strong moment. When a person decides their silence is no longer a weakness but a foundation to rise from. And in that moment I felt it clearly. I was coming back. This time on my own terms. If this story moved you, inspired you, or kept you hooked till the end, please tap like and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps these powerful stories reach more people and encourages us to create even better content for you. Thank you for being here. Your presence truly matters.